Oxford Read and Discover, Level 5, Great Migrations, by Rachel Bladen. Read by Laurel Lefko. Published and copyright Oxford University Press, 2010. Introduction. Around the world, day and night, and in every season, animals are moving from one place to another. They move over land, in the air, or through water. Some make short journeys, others go across the world. These animals are all migrating. Animal migrations are amazing. What animals can you see below? Why do animals migrate? How do animals find their way when they migrate? What animal has made the longest migration? What animals migrate to or from your country?
Discover!
Now read and discover more about some great animal migrations. Chapter 1. On the Move. Migration is when animals move from one place to another. Sometimes huge numbers of animals migrate together, but some animals migrate thousands of kilometers all alone. Why do animals migrate? Many places are not good for animals to live in all year long. The places are sometimes too cold or hot, or not good for baby animals. Sometimes there is not enough food. Animals have to move away for part of the year or for part of their lives. They migrate to find food, water, and a safe place to live or breed. Sometimes all the animals in a species migrate. This is called complete migration. If only some animals in a species migrate, it's called partial migration.
Discover!
Arctic terns migrate from the Arctic to the Antarctic and back every year. That's almost 50,000 kilometers. When to go. Animals that migrate are called migrants. Many migrants leave their home at the same time every year. They reach the end of their journey at about the same time, too. So how do they know when it is time to leave? Animals see things in the world around them that tell them to leave. The days get longer or shorter. The weather gets hotter or colder, or there is less food to eat. Scientists think that when migrants see that these things are changing, their bodies make special chemicals called hormones. The hormones make an animal eat lots of food so that it has enough energy for its journey. Finding their way. Animals are very good at finding their way. Some use landmarks, important places that they can see, for example, mountains and coasts. Others use the sun during the day or the moon and stars at night. Some animals use smells to help them to find their way. Scientists think that some animals can even feel Earth's magnetic field and use it to tell them where they are. It's like the animals have a compass inside.
Discover.
Some animals, like bats and whales, make special sounds when they are moving. The echoes from these sounds help them to find their way. Dangers. Migrating is often dangerous. The journey is very tiring for animals, and they sometimes find it difficult to get food and water. They are in danger from bad weather and predators, other animals that want to kill and eat them. There are many dangers, but these do not stop migrants. They have to make long journeys to find safe places to breed and a home with lots of food. Chapter 2. Bird Migrations. There are many different species of bird, and about half of them migrate. Some birds only travel a few kilometers, but others go all the way around the world. Where do birds migrate? In the northern half of the world, days are long in summer, and birds can easily find food for their young. In winter, many of these birds fly south because it's too cold in the north and there is not enough food. Birds in the southern half of the world fly north for winter and back south for summer. Many birds also migrate between east and west, usually looking for warmer winter weather near the ocean. Most birds in the tropics do not migrate because it's always warm there.
Discover.
Bar-tailed godwits from New Zealand fly further without stopping than any other bird. They fly 11,500 kilometers to China. Then, after feeding, they fly another 5,000 kilometers to Alaska to breed. Getting ready. Before birds migrate, they need to eat a lot of food so that they have enough energy for their journey. Some birds double their weight before migrating. Their muscles become stronger too. Before migrating, many birds also molt. They lose their old feathers and new ones grow. They wait for good weather, and then they are ready to go.
Discover.
A sooty shearwater from New Zealand flew 64,000 kilometers in 2005. This was the longest animal migration ever recorded. Learning where to go. Many large water birds, like geese and cranes, learn where to go from their parents or other older birds. They also have to learn the best way to fly. Geese and cranes always fly in a V shape because the air from the wings of the bird at the front helps the other birds to fly. Whooping cranes in the USA almost became extinct. This means that there were very few birds of that species left. In 1999, scientists brought some young whooping cranes to Florida in the south of the USA. Whooping cranes lived here many years before and always migrated to Wisconsin in the north of the USA. The new young cranes could not learn this from their parents, so the scientists had to teach them. The scientists flew to Wisconsin in special planes. Because the scientists made the cranes listen to the sound of the planes when they were in the egg, the cranes followed them. Dangers. There are many dangers for migrating birds. Hunters often wait for them because they know where and when they will fly. Tall buildings like skyscrapers and wind turbines kill many migrating birds. Also, because of farming or building, many birds lose their habitats, the places where they stop or migrate to. Chapter 3: Insect and Bat Migrations. Many species of insect, like dragonflies, butterflies, and locusts, make short or long migrations by air. Many species of bat also migrate by flying. Dragonflies. Dragonflies live underwater for most of their lives as larvae. Then they become adults. They climb out of the water, their old skin comes off, and their wings slowly open. Dragonflies only live for a few months as adults, but some species migrate. They use the wind to carry them to warmer habitats in the fall.
Discover.
Green darner dragonflies weigh less than 2 grams, but some migrate all the way across the Atlantic Ocean. Monarch butterflies. Every fall, millions of monarch butterflies from North America fly up to 3,000 kilometers south to Mexico. Here, they rest and sleep in trees for the winter months. Then, when spring comes, they fly back to North America. They breed before they die. The migration of the monarch butterflies is beautiful, and it's also amazing. Because monarch butterflies live for less than a year, no butterfly ever makes the same journey again. The monarch butterflies that leave North America have never flown south to Mexico before, but they know where to go. Every year, millions of new butterflies move north and south, going the same way every time and resting in the same trees. Desert locusts. Desert locusts migrate when there are too many locusts in one place. This is called eruptive migration. Desert locusts usually live alone, and they only move around at night. When there are too many locusts, the young locusts change color, and they change how they live. During the day, they fly around in large groups called swarms. They travel up to 200 kilometers every day to find new places with food and fewer locusts. A locust swarm can have up to 1 billion locusts. A locust can eat its own weight in food every day, so thousands of people starve every year when locust swarms eat food crops. Bats. In places that get cold in winter, there are fewer insects, so many species of insect-eating bat migrate. Some bats make only short journeys, but others migrate more than 1,000 kilometers. Every year, during the wet season when there is a lot of rain, millions of fruit bats in Africa migrate to Kasanka National Park in Zambia. At this time, there is lots of fruit on the trees. At night, the bats feed on the fruit, and then at dawn, they fly into forests where they rest and sleep. They eat as much as 5,000 metric tons of fruit every night. Chapter 4. Migrations by Land. When animals migrate by land, they do not have help from the wind or ocean currents. Their journeys are often shorter than air or ocean migrations, but the animals sometimes have to cross deserts, mountains, or ice. Reindeer. Reindeer are a species of deer that live in the Arctic. They are called caribou in North America. They make longer migrations than any other land animal. Some reindeer walk more than 4,000 kilometers every year. Because they live in large groups or herds, they quickly eat up food, and then they have to move to another place.
Discover!
The Sami herders in Lapland migrate with their reindeer. In summer, the reindeer move north or into the mountains, where they can find good grass to eat. They can feed their young here too. They are also safer because they can see predators like bears and wolves, and they can escape from them more easily. In winter, when the snow is deep, the reindeer move to places where there is less snow, so they can find lichens to eat. Reindeer stop growing in winter, so they need up to 70% less food than in summer. Altitudinal migration. Chamois, deer, wild sheep, and goats move up mountains in summer because there are fewer predators. In winter, there is too much snow and not enough food, so they move down the mountains. This is called altitudinal migration. Lemmings. When there is a lot of food, Norway lemmings breed very quickly. They can have up to 8 babies every month. Then there are too many lemmings and not enough for them to eat. So large numbers of young lemmings migrate a long way to find food. They even try to swim across rivers and lakes to find a new place to live with lots of food. Many die, but the lemmings keep having more new babies. Because our climate is changing, there are fewer big lemming migrations now. Frogs and toads. Every year, frogs and toads migrate from their homes on the land to water where they can breed. They only move about 1 or 2 kilometers, but their journeys are very dangerous. They can die if they become too hot or dry, and it's easy for predators to find them when they are migrating. Many frogs and toads are also killed if they have to cross roads to get to the places where they breed.
Discover!
In some countries, people build special tunnels or stop cars so that frogs and toads can cross roads safely. Chapter 5. Migrations in Africa. Some of the most amazing animals in the world live in Africa. How many African animals can you think of? Do you know if they migrate? The wildebeest migration. On the African plains, there is a wet season and a dry season every year. All year long, herds of wildebeest move across the plains in Tanzania and Kenya looking for fresh grass. There are more than 1 million wildebeest. The animals follow the rain, so their movements are different every year, but the journey takes them in a big circle from the Masai Mara National Park in the north down to the Serengeti National Park in the south, up to 3,000 kilometers. At the Serengeti, where the grass is very good in the wet season, the wildebeest have their young.
Discover.
About 200,000 zebras and 500,000 gazelles also migrate with the herds of wildebeest. Dangers. There are many dangers for the migrating wildebeest, zebras, and gazelles. Predators like lions, leopards, and hyenas want to kill and eat the herds. The animals also have to cross big rivers. If the rains have been heavy, the rivers are sometimes very dangerous, and many animals die. Crocodiles attack the herds too. Also, people are using more and more land for growing food, so there is less land for the herds to move around on, and less grass for them to eat. Elephants. Elephants migrate to look for food and water. Male elephants also make long migrations to look for a mate, a female elephant to breed with. For most of the year, male elephants eat and make their bodies strong. Then they have a special time of year, called must, when they migrate hundreds of kilometers to find a mate. They have to fight other male elephants too. So when they come back after mating, they are very thin and they have little energy.
Discover.
An adult elephant needs about 100 kilograms of food every day and up to 300 liters of water. So for about 80% of the day, elephants feed or look for food. The Okavango Delta. The Okavango Delta is in the Kalahari Desert in Botswana in Africa. For 6 months, it's dry and sandy, and nothing grows here. Then every summer, it floods, and grass covers the land. When the water comes, many birds and other animals migrate here. Dragonflies, cranes, deer, buffaloes, elephants, giraffes, and many other animals all migrate to the Okavango Delta to look for food and water. Chapter 6. Ocean Migrations. Many fish migrate around the ocean, and some ocean mammals migrate too. Some make very long journeys. Whales. Many whales, like humpback whales and gray whales, migrate to polar oceans in summer. Here they can find lots of their favorite food, krill. Young whales cannot keep warm enough in very cold oceans, so in winter, the whales migrate back to warmer, tropical oceans to breed. Humpback whales migrate further than any other mammal, up to 17,000 kilometers every year. They migrate for the first time with their mothers, and then they usually make the same journey every year for the rest of their lives. During their journeys, humpback whales make special sounds, like a song. All humpback whales in the same part of the world sing almost the same song, and it changes every year. Emperor penguins. In summer in the Antarctic, emperor penguins hunt for krill, fish, and squid in the ocean. In March, when the ice gets thicker, adult penguins migrate up to 200 kilometers across the ice to their breeding places. After the females have laid their eggs, they go back to the ocean to feed. The males keep the eggs warm on their feet. They often have to wait for up to 16 weeks for the eggs to hatch, and they do not eat during this time.
Discover.
Penguins cannot walk well, so they often push themselves across the ice on their stomachs. Fish. Some fish move away from coral reefs at night to feed. Then they go back there in the day because they can hide easily from predators under the coral. Other reef fish make longer migrations to breed. They lay their eggs near the edge of the reef so that ocean currents will carry the eggs away from predators. Some bigger fish, like tuna, make very long journeys of up to 10,500 kilometers between the places where they feed and breed. Vertical migrations. Animal plankton are very small animals that live in the ocean. Every day, they make vertical migrations. They migrate up and down. They move up the ocean at night to eat plant plankton that live at the top of the ocean. Then they move down the ocean in the day. Jellyfish, squid, and small fish that eat plankton migrate up and down the ocean with them. Bigger animals like sharks, dolphins, and sea turtles eat the small fish, so they follow too. Every day, billions of animals move up and down the ocean. Chapter 7. Going Home to Breed. Many animals migrate to breed. Some make long and difficult journeys to get to special breeding places. Salmon. Most water animals live either in salt water or in fresh water. Salmon are unusual. Salmon eggs hatch in freshwater streams, and then the salmon migrate down rivers to the ocean. When they get to the ocean, salmon often make long journeys to places where there is lots of food. They stay in the ocean for up to 6 years. Amazingly, the salmon then swim back up rivers into the streams where they hatched. Some salmon travel hundreds of kilometers. They use smell to find their way home. They go back to breed, and most species of salmon then die.
Discover.
Before sockeye salmon breed, they change color from silver to red. Dangers for salmon. It's tiring and dangerous for salmon to migrate up rivers because the water moves them in the opposite direction. Because salmon usually migrate at the same time each year, many predators, like birds, bigger fish, and bears, wait for them. Salmon are also in danger when trees are cut down or when rivers are polluted, because this damages their habitats. Dams can stop salmon migrating, or they can kill or hurt them. Dams are often built with fish ladders so that salmon can jump up from pool to pool. Eels. Eels migrate from fresh water to salt water to have their young. Eel larvae move across the ocean with ocean currents, and young eels then migrate up rivers and streams. After many years in rivers, the eels grow into adults. Then they migrate back to the ocean to breed. They become silver so that they are hidden from ocean predators. Some eels migrate up to 8,000 kilometers across the ocean before breeding.
Discover.
When adult eels move from fresh water to salt water, their stomachs become smaller and their eyes become much bigger. Sea turtles. Sea turtles migrate thousands of kilometers to breed. Scientists think that many turtles go back every year to the same place to lay their eggs. How do they know where to go? Scientists think that they follow Earth's magnetic field. The turtles lay their eggs on land, and they cover them with sand. They then swim away to the places where they feed. When the eggs hatch, the young turtles dig their way out of the sand. They then go to the ocean and swim away. Chapter 8. Changing Migrations. Animals that migrate move through different habitats, and they need different types of food in different places. Because of this, they are in danger from things that change in the world around them. Problems for migrants. Many migrants, like tuna, cod, birds, and sea turtles, are in danger from too much fishing or hunting. Roads, power lines, and wind turbines stop other animals from migrating. Also, people damage the habitats of many migrants when they cut down trees, take out ponds, build dams across rivers, or build fences around land. Pollution damages habitats too.
Discover.
Every year, about 100,000 albatrosses are killed by fishing hooks. The climate is changing. Earth is getting too warm because our vehicles, factories, and power stations are making too many gases like carbon dioxide. The climate is changing, so there are more storms, and deserts are getting bigger. There is less ice on polar oceans, and ocean currents are changing. Journeys are now more dangerous for migrants. It's also more difficult for animals to reach the right place at the right time for feeding and breeding. Scientists think that many animal species will stop migrating, or they will migrate to new places because the climate is changing.
Discover.
Many birds that migrate north for summer, like the willow warbler, are now staying there for longer than usual. Some birds are not migrating back south. Polar bears in danger. Polar bears live on the ice in the Arctic in winter. Here they can hunt seals, their main food. In summer, there is not enough ice for hunting, so polar bears migrate south to the land. Because the climate is changing, there is now less ice on the ocean, and the ice is melting earlier in spring. So in winter, the bears have less time on the ice for catching seals. Also, it's sometimes difficult for the bears to migrate to land because there is less ice to walk on, and they often have to swim too far across the ocean. How can we help? Scientists are now putting special markers on some migrants. These markers help scientists to see where the animals are migrating and how their journeys are changing. Scientists hope that if they learn more about migrants, they can help to save their habitats.
Discover.
In the wet season on Christmas Island in Asia, millions of red crabs migrate to the ocean to breed. Markers have helped scientists to learn about their migration. We need to keep our planet Earth clean and safe to protect animal migrations.